Hey, what's happening, guys? Welcome back. Let's talk about Ilia Topuria versus Max Blessed Holloway. This one's going down tomorrow. Let's get into this quick breakdown. All right, so Ilia Topuria, of course, right now, the 145-pound champion, still a young guy, 27 years old, coming into his prime. He's kind of on fire right now. Talking about his skill set and his game, he's a complete fighter, has some pretty phenomenal boxing and striking, super composed, very crisp, great technique. He has a lot of power for the weight class. Ground game, dangerous, has more submissions on his resume than he does knockouts. So that's something. But to touch on that, a lot of his submissions were on very low-level, no-name guys. Ilia also has a handful of first-round finishes, which is impressive, but again, those are on more lower-tier fighters. I think he's pretty big and strong for the division. Maybe not height-wise, but he's muscular, he's strong. Add that with all of his skills and the confidence, because mentality plays a huge part in success in mixed martial arts. Add it all together, you have Ilia Topuria, the champ. Max Blessed Holloway, I mean, the guy is a legend. I can't believe Max is only 32 years old, still relatively young. Feels like he's been in the sport forever. And he kind of has. Talking about Max's game, Max is one of the best boxers in mixed martial arts in the UFC, hands down. So slick, so smooth. Doesn't really display a lot of power because I don't think he really goes for that. Max is more of like a volume striker, kills you with 1,000 cuts. Max does have a pretty solid ground game, but doesn't really utilize it. Uses his grappling more defensively to keep the fight on the feet. His finishing resume is like pretty much the opposite of Ilia Topuria's. Max has like a handful of subs, and the vast majority of his finishes are knockouts. That last fight against Justin Gaethje was insane. So many people counted Max out. I actually picked him to win. That was just spectacular. That was like some of the best Max Holloway we've ever seen. He was so on point that night, and he had to be because it was Justin Gaethje. Justin Gaethje will knock your head into orbit. But Max displayed that he can go against, once again, a super dangerous knockout artist in a higher weight class and more than knock that guy out. Max as well has a complete game. He does have some flaws in his game, and we're going to get into that against Ilia Topuria and talk about Ilia's flaws. So let's get into this. All right, big question. Who has the better boxing? I think these guys are equally skilled in the boxing department. It's just that they have different styles. Max Holloway kind of flows a bit more, likes to have his hands down, he's loose. Ilia Topuria is more of a traditional style in boxing. Hands high, high guard, straight punches, very clean, very crisp. Max is crisp as well, but he's creative and he likes to play around a little bit on the feet. And there's no right or wrong way to do things when you're at the level of Max Holloway, because a lot of boxing purists will say, oh, look at Max. He doesn't have the greatest technique, his hands are low. But a lot of high-level strikers, when you've mastered the basics, you could do that. Look at some of the greats like in boxing, Muhammad Ali. That was Muhammad Ali's style. Roy Jones Jr. You're going to tell those guys how to box? Rest in peace, Ali. But yeah, as far as boxing, I think these guys are equally good, just different styles again. I'm going to give the power to Topuria. Not to say that Max doesn't have power, because he does, but he kind of more relies on landing on the button, timing. Now, Max is kind of like an enigma sometimes. You see him fight, sometimes he has stellar defense, rolls on a lot of shots, on his bicycle, circles, moves a lot of feints, which is great. And in other fights, he just kind of relies on his chin. And I don't think that'll be a good idea against Ilia Topuria, because look, Max has a granite chin, but he's only human. Anybody could get knocked out. And he's a little bit older than Ilia. Topuria is coming into his prime. Max is 32. He's been through a lot of wars and fights. I still think Max got it, but he can't play around with this kid, especially not early on. If you want to play around, you want to test your chin against Topuria, great. Do that in the middle of the fight and on. Don't play into Topuria's pointing at the ground in the first round, first 10 seconds, and just trading blow for blow. I think that would be stupid. You got to soften this kid up. Ilia bit on a lot of feints. Volkanovski was throwing at him. Also, Volk had success with low kicks, with Ilia having a very boxing-based stance, heavy on that lead leg. That's something that Max could exploit. Max does like to throw low kicks, and he has those big legs, dense Polynesian bones. So definitely Max Holloway has to feint a lot, pump that jab. They both have the same reach, but Max is the taller man. So in theory, if he keeps his chin back, he can use his height and be harder to hit and just stick that jab into Topuria's face. And he has to move. He can't get cornered against the cage, and that's not really Max's style anyway, so that's going for him. Max does a lot of circling. He's very good at frustrating his opponents. I think the experience heavily goes to Max Holloway. I mean, their resumes don't even compare. And that's not a knock on Ilia Topuria. He's just not there yet. I mean, Max Holloway has been there, done that. He's fought so many big names, fought so many killers. Topuria's biggest win is Alexander Volkanovski. That's it. Max Holloway has fought them all. So the experience is going to go to Max Holloway 100%. As far as like grappling and the ground game, I think Max has very competent BJJ in grappling. I think he's difficult to take down. I don't see Ilia Topuria taking him down unless he rocks Max and wobbles him. Same thing with the submission. I just don't see Topuria catching Max in a sub unless he just catches him in something. The same way you can get caught on the feet. And you don't call those like a fluke thing, but when you zig, when you should have zagged, you get caught, whether it's striking or on the ground. But besides that, I think Max is going to be just fine. I don't think Ilia Topuria is going to take him down. Not easily anyway. And Topuria might just want to keep it on the feet to prove something. Because he's been talking a lot how he's a better boxer than Max. He was calling it laughable that he's the best boxer in the UFC. So I think for the most part, this would be a striking affair. I don't see Max playing into the whole standing in the center and banging it out. Not early on anyway. Because again, that's that championship experience. Max Holloway's not going to fall for that. So yeah, once again, I think grappling-wise, Max should be fine. Topuria has finished a lot of guys with subs, but like they're like low-level dudes. So ultimately, who do I have winning this fight? I'm going to go with Max Holloway. I still think Max Holloway is in his prime or close to his prime. He's only 32 years old. He just had a crazy performance against Justin Gaethje. The one concerning thing though is Max making this cut to 145 again. He always looks horribly drained. And when you get older, you get more of like that man weight and it's harder to make the cut. And I know he's a gamer. He wanted another shot at the belt at featherweight. But when you cut a lot of weight, when you dehydrate your brain, definitely affects your chin. So that's the one concerning thing. And a sign that featherweight may not be for Max anymore is if he starts getting tired in the fight. That's a clear sign that he drained himself to make the weight. But besides that, if Max had a great weight cut, if he comes in close to 100%, I'm picking Max Holloway to win. I think the experience is going to play a factor. Max has a great chin. So even if Topuria catches him, he should be able to recover. Max always has great cardio. Holloway also has an elusive style. He's taller. He should be able to fight longer. So as long as he's smart and stays on the outside and keeps pumping that jab, throws an occasional low kick, I think Topuria's going to have a hard time fanning his chin. Now on the flip side, Topuria is going to have to cut Max Holloway off, corner him, get his back against the cage, unload damaging combinations when he can, and make use of those attacks. Otherwise, he's just going to tire himself out. Gotta watch with those low kicks. Max is kind of tricky with them. Max has great spinning back kicks as well. Volk has success with body kicks, so that's something Topuria has to look out for. If Topuria can get Max Holloway overconfident to get into more shot-for-shot brawling exchanges, that's going to give him his best shot to win. Because especially at 145 right now, I think he has more power than Max, and I think he might be more dangerous on the feet as far as like one-shot kill power. But ultimately, I'm picking Max Holloway to win, probably by decision. I think he's going to be too elusive for Topuria. I think his chin's going to hold up. I think the grappling's going to hold up. I don't think Topuria brings anything to the table that Max hasn't faced before. The experience is going to play a big factor, at least in my opinion. So final pick, Max Holloway, most likely via decision. That's what I'm thinking. But guys, you tell me in the comment section who takes this fight and why. We'd love to read your thoughts. Enjoy the fight after it goes down. Most likely I'll get a recap vid up and we'll talk about it then. But guys, enjoy the fights. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the likes and subscriptions. I know it's been a while since I've put up a video, but we're not going anywhere. Stay blessed, guys. Later.